And welcome back to the All Juve Cast channel, where of course it's all Juve all the time. That's right. I'm Alberto. I'm going to hit you with the news surrounding La Senora to April 13th. Okay, we're going to talk about some transfer rumblings. We're going to talk about a little bit more about that prosecutor's case against Juventus in the Plus Valenza trials, and then some injury updates as we get ready for Juventus and Bologna coming up this week, and all that today. All right, everybody, right out of the gate, we're going to talk about Juve's lawyers will be heard in 24 hours by the FIGC prosecutors in the Plus Valenza case. What's going to be spoken about is the value of the players that they have sold for capital gains. How ridiculous is that? Think about it, okay? Now they're saying that there's an algorithm created to determine the players' values. This is the absolute biggest witch hunt I've ever seen in my life. If you own a player, who's to tell you what you have to sell them for? And this goes for all the teams that are involved in this. And we had a good discussion. I saw your comments on yesterday's video when I gave you more details and news in this case. It is laughable and ridiculous for someone to say there's an algorithm created on what these players need to be sold for. Hey, if the two teams agreed upon it, the deal is done. It's sold, signed, sealed, delivered, done, finito. But again, Italians love to shoot their own leagues and shoot their own clubs in the foot. And yes, at this rate, we'll never catch anybody. So anyways, that's the latest. In 24 hours, Juventus, their lawyers will be heard in the case, and they can defend those values that they sold those players for. Now, moving on, let's talk a little bit about some of the transfer rumblings surrounding Juventus. Obviously, Milinkovic-Savic, he is tempted by Juventus. He is intrigued by the thought of playing in Turin. His brother plays for Torino. Not only that, he would love to play with Vlahovic. However, Lotito is being Lotito. Okay, so something we all expected, all knew was going to happen. Lotito is not going to budge from 70 to 80 million euros. Juventus is not willing to pay that amount, and Lotito is said to not be interested in taking any players in a deal for Milinkovic-Savic and would prefer to sell the player abroad. So again, here's that little dagger coming in from Lotito. However, who knows what could happen, because again, it's all about the players' will, and there have been rumblings that Juventus and Milinkovic-Savic and his entourage have intensified meetings and whatnot. So if we can get that player's will, it won't really matter what Lotito wants, and then he would have to be forced, or again, we'll see what happens come the end of term. So again, there you have it, Lotito being Lotito. Now we move on to Mckennie. There is thoughts that there's going to be some offers coming in the summer for Mckennie, and he could be moved by Juventus. I spoke about this on a news video probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, talking about in terms of all the targets that Juventus is looking at in the middle of the pitch, and there's probably going to have to be somebody we don't want to see go that ends up going. Mckennie could fall into that, because I would like to keep Mckennie around. From what I've seen in your comments, Juventini, a lot of you would like to keep him around, but I don't see Arthur being moved, only a loan based on the value he stands the club. And Rabiot is the other possibility. With all the incoming targets that they're looking at making a shift there, I expect two midfielders to probably be outgoing from Juventus. Rovella should be coming in. There's even the slight chance that Fagioli could come in for next season, and that's been part of the transfer rumblings this morning too. So I just see two Juve midfielders having to go, and I don't think that Arthur is going to be one of them. So yeah, and you can even say the same for Rabiot based on how Allegri feels. The only knock is Rabiot's salary is extremely high. So Mckennie could be one because he's got value in terms of a sale. So there you have it. Maybe Big Mac could be moving away from Juventus. Now we'll continue on with a weird one that just come out of the blue, but Arsenal. Arsenal has made an offer to Atletico Madrid for Alvaro Morata, apparently at 30 million euros. So we know that Juventus was willing to go to probably 20, being the highest. They will definitely not go to 30 because they had the option to purchase at 35. So they're not going to take that option. So this offer comes out of nowhere from Arsenal. So we will have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see if the player even would accept a move to Arsenal, but this is going to be very, very interesting. This would open up yet another move Juventus would have to make in the offseason in the attack on top of an attacking player they were already looking at getting. So it just makes more work for this team have to do. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens with this one. And eyes will be on Morata and what happens with his future, because it would make things very, very difficult for Juventus moving into that Mercado and another spot to fill. Now, in terms of getting ready for this weekend and Bologna, you have a couple of unfortunate injuries. Hey, we're no stranger to that at Juventus, definitely not this season. So here you go. What's a couple more? Let's throw them into the mixer here. Quadrado has an abductor issue, okay, and he is doubtful now for Bologna. Arthur suffered an ankle injury in training. However, he's been gone through tests and evaluations, and it's not severe, and he is listed at day-to-day, so he could be a part of this match against Bologna still. But hey, we've got Moretti. Moretti's going to be up with the senior squad. Hey, if you got to use them, use them. What's this fear in using young guys, especially if it's in their natural position? So we'll wait and see. But if Arthur can't go, I say, hey, let's give Moretti some minutes here against Bologna. Fourth is, I think safe for Juventus. There's not many games remaining, and one player, one young guy in the lineup isn't going to make a drastic difference to the point where we can't get a victory against Bologna. So let's wait and see what happens. But Quadrado and Arthur have injuries. Let's see what happens there. Now, everybody, that's your news update to April 13th. Can't wait to hear all your thoughts on this, all your thoughts on Lotito, your thoughts on this ongoing Plus Valenza. But what do you feel about Mckennie moving on? Because that one's kind of a big, and the Morata deal potentially to Arsenal. What would Juve have to do? Where would you like them to look if Morata isn't redeemed at such a low price? Would you even redeem him at that 20 million that Juventus was talking? Can't wait to hear all your thoughts and comments and opinions in the comment section to this video. You know what to do, and don't forget while you're here to like the video, and if you're new, subscribe to your channel. It's a one-stop shop for everything Juventus. All right, till tomorrow, fino alla fine, forza Juve. Ciao.